Chair and members, my name is Ben Clapper. I'm director of Louisiana Right to Life, state's pro-life organization that was founded in 1970 to restore the right to life in Louisiana from conception through natural death. We come in support of this bill. One of the most fundamental indications of a human life is the heartbeat. And this bill means to protect that unborn child when the heartbeat is detectable. Of course, the heartbeat begins beating closer to around 18, 22 days after conception. This legislation that Senator Milkovich has drafted and brought forward is to protect the unborn child when the fetal heartbeat is detectable through standard medical means. We support this bill. We also support the amendment that was put on in the Senate committee to make it effective upon the outcome of a Mississippi court case on a very similar law. What this amendment enables the state to do is to have the law be enforceable when Mississippi's law finishes its court process. So that allows our Attorney General to remain focused on the 5 cases it's currently defending on other pro-life legislation that has passed through this room, your committee, over the past 3 to 4 years. So this doesn't, slow in any way the enforcement of this, because, of course, if this were to be passed and we did not make it hinging on the Mississippi case, then we would be looking at a court case here in Louisiana. So we ask your favorable passage of this legislation. Thank you, members.
Mr. Ben, there's no questions. You said you represent Louisiana Right to Life?
Yes, sir.
From conception to natural death?
That's right.
I just had a quick question. Did y'all take a position yet on the death penalty?
Chairman, we do not take a position as an organization on the death penalty. I personally am opposed to the death penalty and support that legislation, but our organization, since it was founded in 1970, doesn't take a position on it. We try to keep our issues as narrowly tailored as possible, and so that's an issue that we've remained neutral on.
Okay, we do have a question. Representative Jackson.
Hey, Ben.
Hey.
Mr. Clapper, so along the same lines of questioning as Representative Miller, I know that traditionally I've researched Right to Life has not taken a position on it. Has it been up for discussion with the board or whoever makes the decisions for Right to Life?
Sure, it's a regular topic that we discuss, and I know that we're affiliated with National Right to Life as a national organization which has 50 state affiliates, and each member of those sits on a board of National Right to Life, which partly makes those decisions in association with us. So it's a big undertaking to change or add positions. We have consistently remained neutral on issues such as contraception, for example.
Right.
And then, for example, even on issues such as war or other things, we've remained neutral on those issues and tried to keep it tailored. We certainly understand that the capital punishment can unintentionally result in the conviction of an innocent person, but we remain our difference remains focused on the fact that the unborn child and those who else that we take positions on have their innocence is pure, and so there's no discussion on the matter of whether the state has the authority to do that or not. So we believe there's a qualitative difference on the issue. Now, I certainly understand the similarities in there, and that's why I take a position personally. But our organization has to, remain focused on its issues as best as possible as an organization.
And I understand, and I'm against the death penalty as well personally. My concern has become, in the state of Louisiana, we've seen so many convictions overturned over the last 10 or 15 years. It just seems that we cannot, with certainty in our court system, say who should be put to death or not. And I always say when I'm advocating for life that if I can save one innocent life, then what I do for life is worth it. And I'm kind of getting that way with this death penalty issue as well, as I see those who have been wrongfully incarcerated coming out of jail. And so I would request at some point to discuss with Louisiana Right to Life, since we seem to have one of the highest turnover rates of wrongful convictions, what the procedure would be to request that we look at that issue.
Sure. Well, I would certainly welcome that conversation, Representative Jackson.
Thank you.
Ben, you also mentioned, once again, you said from conception to natural death.
Yes, sir.
But you said the right to life is remaining neutral.
Sure.
Do you think it's fair for them to remain neutral if their mission is from conception to natural death?
Sure. So our mission is, and again, it does kind of pivot on this technicality that we're talking about, that the mission of our organization is to restore the right to life, and it focuses on innocent human life in the situation. Now, I understand, as Representative Jackson mentioned, that there are times when there are innocent people convicted, and that is very unfortunate, and certainly, as I mentioned, is one of the many reasons that I myself would oppose and support the moratorium on the death penalty. As an organization, we do understand over time there has been the authority that the state and many faith traditions as well have recognized that in certain situations there is a potential legitimate authority for the state to make that decision based on correct convictions in those situations. And because of that, it becomes a separate issue, of a qualitatively different issue because of that situation, because the role of the state and how they handle that situation. The unborn human life, the unborn child, of course, has no choice in the matter at all, right? Their life is, of course, they didn't decide that their life wanted to be terminated, and they didn't want to be killed early on in the situation. The same goes with euthanasia and other questions like that, or even things such as embryonic stem cell research, when the human embryo is destroyed, of course, with no choice of their own. So regardless of whether it's fair or not, it's still, we see as a qualitative difference on the issues, even though it's often, especially in this building, the same language is used back and forth. So we would still say that there's a qualitative difference on the issues, and that's why we don't take a position as an organization.
I understand. I think this committee is going to overwhelmingly support this legislation because we believe in the right to life, right?
Yes,
but we
sir.
Also, a lot of members here, you keep mentioning quality. We believe in quality life.
Absolutely.
We believe that any kid that born should have an opportunity to have access to health care, should have an opportunity to have access to good education. We need Louisiana Right to Life to come to the table and support us when we're fighting for that unborn kid, once they're born, to have a quality life. And there's a lot of opportunities that I think we have to join to help that kid that wants that kid born, whether it's disability, and we pass the TEFRA Act to where the parent's income isn't going to be a factor in that patient getting health care or not. Whether it's, like I said, access to quality living, we need Louisiana Right Life to help support the members that support these pro-life bills, because we are a pro-life state. But we have to remember, you keep using quality. It's important that we fight for quality, a quality life for this born individual.
Absolutely. And Representative Miller and I support all that you obviously are a champion on both sides of this, right?
Well, I like you.
Well,
listen, no, seriously.
Oh, I'm very happy about that. Thank you for that compliment. But I will say that we just supported Senator Morrell, and I don't know if it comes through this committee or not, but his diaper sales tax legislation, right, that is coming over here, not in the form of a constitutional amendment now, but in the form of a statute. We did support that. We do understand and we do support the state funds that are used in pregnancy help centers to support moms and babies before and after birth. So we do things like that. Again, we understand as an organization that, sometimes the broader you become, it becomes harder to tack your path forward, in a sense, as an organization. So, and there are organizations throughout this building that have to take that kind of narrow path at times. We do, as an organization, we certainly always look for opportunities to support moms and children before and after birth in a way that we feel that we discern is the best for our organization and for our cause, and we'll continue to look forward to that.
Good deal. And I'm just once again encouraging your organization to join the war of making sure we don't narrow that path to that born child.